Not seeing your father when you are small, never being with him, having a remote father, an absent father, a workaholic father is an injury. To be without a supportive father is for a man an alternative phrase for to be in shame. Once upon a time, there was a jungle, a forbidden forest, where nobody was allowed to go, and whoever went in that forest would never come out again. So one day, a soldier and his dog were just going into the forest, and his dog went missing. There was nothing of suspicion there, like there was literally nothing. So he sees like a well, and he suspects that there is a beast under the well, and he takes out all the water bucket by bucket, and at the bottom of the well or the lake there's a wild man. The soldier takes the wild man to the king, and then they lock him up and they give the key of the cage to the queen for her to hide it. One day the prince of the palace, he's playing with a golden ball, and the golden ball goes towards this cage. So the wild man picks the ball up and the prince goes and asks, "Can I please have my ball back?" The wild man looks at the boy and says, "Yes, but only if you let me out of the cage." Obviously, the boy is not going to do that, so the prince goes away. 10 years later, the prince comes again. Now he's quite old, like he's 25 years old. He has a mortgage and two cars, and he has a wife and three children. And now he asks the wild man, "Can I please have my ball back?" And the wild man says, "Yes, but only if you let me out of the cage." 10 years later again, he comes and asks, "Can I please have my ball back?" And the wild man says, "Yes, but only if you release me from the cage." Now this time he's 35 years old. He's been beaten down by life. He's overworked and underappreciated in society. At this point, the prince, he thinks pretty hard of whether he should do it or not. And he says, "Yes, but even if I were to release you, I do not know where the key is." And the wild man says, "The key is under your mother's pillow, where she sleeps in her room." So the prince has to think hard. And one day he does it. He goes into the room of his mother, that is the queen, and he takes the key, and then he goes and he unlocks the cage. When the wild man comes out, he's like, "My parents will kill me if they find out that I've released you and taken my ball back, my golden ball back." So the wild man just picks this guy up, puts him on his back, and runs away. That is the story of the wild man. The golden ball that this boy lost in his childhood, that is our innocence, that is our childlike self that we lack right now. The childlike self that was damaged by the fucking world. We lost our golden ball. We lost it. Either trauma took it, or some person took it, or we gave it up as we grew older. We became busy with the bullshit responsibilities of life. That is the golden ball that we lost. And the wild man has it right now. And if we talk about the wild man is just the untamed version of you. The key word here is untamed, which means you have not been domesticated. The undomesticated version of you is the wild man. And every man inside of him has a wild man, and every woman has inside of her a wild woman. But this video is only about wild men, so we'll stick to that. And the key to unlocking the wild man, and for him to becoming a friend, tapping into his energy, the key to that lies with your mother. This whole situation symbolizes the possessiveness that your parents can have over you. And that key of unlocking the wild man is with your parents, or in this case, with your mother. Mothers know what will happen if the son got the key. They would lose their boys. What I'm about to say is gonna sound a bit fucked up, so just bear with me. Do not take it literally. I repeat, do not take it literally. Every boy has the desire to, like this fucked up desire, this primal desire to kill his father and to sleep with his mother. And vice versa as well. Like every mother wishes to sleep with his son, and every father wishes to sleep with his daughter. This is known as the Oedipus complex, which a guy came up with. He basically said this is the root of all problems in society. I don't agree with him, but this is what he says, okay? And in a more sensible fashion, what this basically means is this Oedipus complex is symbolizing the overprotectiveness of parents within families. So to give an example would be the crazy father that like that cannot handle his daughter getting married. Like, he'll show up with a gun to his daughter's wedding. Like, he cannot handle losing his daughter to another man, for example. It's not coming from a sexual nature. It's not like, oh, another man's gonna, like, but it's like that overprotectiveness that the father has towards the daughter. The interesting thing is that the mother will have this overprotectiveness over the son, and the father over the daughter, usually, in most cases. So that's the first example. And the second example would be the 30-year-old guy that is still living with his mother in the basement. Like, he's still not come out of the overprotectiveness of the mother, the nurturing, the caring of the mother. He still hasn't come out of it. And we have seen this in recent years, where I have seen like man-childs. Like, so the term man-child, this is basically that. And I've seen man-childs, men-child. How would you say it in plural? I've seen a man-child in real life. And right now, these kind of boys with overprotective parents, we're going to use parents, they don't know who the fuck they are. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Right now, in Indian households specifically, we have 18, 19-year-old full-grown boys, muscular, jacked, 90 kilograms, and they still can't go outside without asking their parents. This is the world we're living in right now, where the overprotectiveness has gotten so out of hand that a boy cannot safely transition from boy to man. He stays boy forever because of the overprotectiveness. Now, the overprotectiveness itself isn't evil, because that is the nature of the mother. We are not blaming the mother energy. What we are saying is that there is a certain point in life where a boy must transition from boy to man. And that requires a certain specific set of experiences and steps, which I'll tell you later. And that is literally not happening, where like full grown adults feel like boys under their skin. They do not feel free, they do not feel masculine, dominant, like they are, like the world is a bitch. We are still boys inside, because we still are in that state of permission seeking. And at some point, a boy must become independent from his parents. Independence does not mean you're just physically away from your parents, independent. No, it could mean that you're simply in a state where what they say does not affect you. You are your own person, because you have transcended the overprotectiveness of your parents. The dumbasses watching this video might say, "Arey, but Indian culture is not like this. Indian tradition is not like this. We are not like the USA people, or 18 years old, get out of the house, this and that." Listen to me. Our original Indian culture is exactly like this. A boy turns 8 to 12 years old. If he's a soldier, where is he sent? If he's the son of a soldier, where is he sent? He's sent to the Gurukul, where he has a male role model transitioning him from boy to man through a set of rituals, through a set of exercises, through a set of training. It's a multi-year process from boy to man that this guru, teacher helps him to do. And no females are allowed there. And in that whole time, you are not allowed to essentially see any girls, or even your mother, or even your father rather. You go in, I think there's summer break or some shit, but in that big period of time, let's say you're there for 6 months, whatever time you're there, you're not allowed to see your mother. And for the people that were not soldiers, they would go to other institutions, right? But it was always young boys at a certain age. They must leave their home to go to some kind of a training where there's a male instructor, and he's teaching them on how to go from boy to man, essentially. Like, in their own way, it is this period of isolation from women and molding that boy into a man. So you might say, oh, then USA culture is still better. Like, I hope my parents just kick me out when I turn 18. Wrong. It's not just about the physical distance you are from your parents. Just because I'm independent now and I make, as much money as my parents, I can retire, like whatever. The act of independence is not what I'm talking about here. That means nothing. There are plenty of man-childs making their own money, still live, like they have separate lives from their parents. But being a man is not about having a physical distance from your parents. It's about doing the things you want to do without the shame and guilt that comes as a result of doing what you do by your parents. And at some point in your childhood, there must be a proper transition into adulthood out of the possessiveness of your parents. That is the goal. Merely staying away from your parents doesn't do anything. You have to get out of the possessiveness of your parents, and especially in boys' cases, their mothers. This doesn't mean you have to hate your mother or do this and do that. But the interesting thing is that is usually a sign that you are ready to be transitioned. When you start hating your mother, in this book, he mentioned a very profound thing that resonated with me. He says that a boy, when he becomes of age, when he realizes that the realm of the boy is not enough for him anymore, that he there is an intrinsic like calling in him that he needs to become a man. At that time, he's rude to his mother. He gets angry at his mother. He shouts at his mother. And the reason for that is that he wants to make himself unattractive in the eyes of the mother, so that he can like somewhat like it's all subconscious. Obviously, this is all subconscious. And when I think about it, it's like, fuck, like I did that. When I was you could say 7-8 years old, I did that. I started doing it at 6-7 years old. I perfectly remember this now. I would be rude, angry towards my mother for no reason. And the subconscious reasoning for this, according to Robert, the author of the book, he's saying that you want to make yourself unattractive to your mother. It's a desperate attempt for a father figure to come in and then take you out of this by like transitioning you out of the possessiveness of your mother. So that transition never happened for me, and it's not happening for so many other boys, which has had them confused. So basically, in your earlier days, you still rebelled, okay? You rebelled to get out of the possessiveness out of your parents. You rebelled by shouting, screaming. Do you not remember like those times when you would just be fucking crazy? Like, I want this, meaning I want this. And your parents would, like, you'd have these massive fights. Keep in mind, massive fights. And what do massive fights start from? It starts from a rebellion from you. Now, you are right now watching this 16, 17, 18 maybe. When was the last time you had this massive fight with your parents? In your childhood, it seemed like those massive fights were happening every single week. That you were like in a war basically. You were rebelling naturally as a young boy. You were unsatisfied with your current level of possessiveness. You wanted to get out. You didn't know how to. A father's figure is supposed to come in and take you out of it. But no one did. You didn't know how to do it. So you rebelled. And this perfectly proves my point, where if you haven't been rebelling in the last few days like that, to get out of your possessiveness, it means that you've given up. Like, this is what happened. This is what happens for an extended period of time. It's that boy at the start, the prince. He waited 10 years to make the decision to get the golden ball back, to get his pride back, to take help from the wild man. He waited 10 years, then 10 more years. That's you basically right now. You rebelled, like you lost your golden ball. You tried to get it back by rebelling, and now you don't even try. And I want you to actually test this out. This is not any bullshit. Try doing something that you want to do right now. Tell your parents you're going to do that and see the reaction. That is what I'm talking about. You stopped doing the things like or even like trying to do the things you want to do, but your parents didn't want you to do. You tried to do it shamelessly in your childhood, but then when it was battered again and again, when it was shouted at again and again, you become suppressed. You become a suppressed boy. You became a suppressed individual. Perhaps you just have to go on a trek, for example, and your parents are not allowing you, like whatever it is that your parents don't allow you that you want to do, just try to do that once, just as an experiment, just to make sure what I'm saying is true. The modern man cannot free himself without harming himself in the process because of the absent father figure. Just answer this question right now to me. Do you feel fatherless? Like, even if you did have a father, do you feel fatherless? Just that feeling. Do you feel it? Yes or no? For so many, it literally gave me goosebumps right now. For so many of us, that statement right there is true. For our for our own fathers, that statement is true. And that is a deep fucking problem, if you ask me. That is a deep, deep problem. Which means that your father cannot get you out of this boyhood because he's stuck in it himself. He still hasn't transitioned from boy to man. A man isn't somebody that just has the outward responsibilities of protecting, providing, on being the man of the house. I make the money of the house, this and that. Because these men are still depressed. Your father is still depressed, shitless, working in a carpet job, this and that, responsibilities that he didn't even like taking. He's stressed, people are abusing him, he's overworked, underappreciated. That's not honorable at all. That is not the symbol, like that is not manly, if you ask me. And the book says it as well. A man is somebody who is in touch with the wild man. A man is somebody that is in touch with the untamed version of himself, which we'll come on to in a bit. But the absent father has caused this. And when we talk about safely transitioning from child to adult, usually older men in the tribe back in the day would help you in this process. But that is no longer possible when the older men themselves haven't transitioned properly. And another reason why it's not possible is because of the nuclear family, where it's just your father in the house, no other male figure, nobody that you can look up to. Like in some families, yes, grandparents are still there, but usually back in the day, it will be a grandfather plus like other older men in the tribe. Maybe your uncle is living with you. This other people are living with you, so they help you in this process as well. It's not just your father, because realistically, it doesn't have to be your father. It can be anybody. It can be a father figure. And instead, young boys have now turned to the internet for father figures. Think about how fucked that is. Like, and that's never enough, right? The massive popularity of people, young guys, and just men in general, which fit the narrative of the father figure that you didn't have in your real life. So you look up to these men online as a source of inspiration, as somebody to learn from, listen from. But that is not enough, because when you are with a true father figure, in his proximity, you almost feel like you are, like, it feels like the cells in your body are being nurtured. The cells in your body are being fed, almost like it's like a substance, like food almost. Robert explains in the book, where if you are with an older guy, not just older, somebody that you respect, look up to, and is a father figure to you, it just by being in his proximity, you feel like you are being fed with a substance like food. I personally feel this with my grandfather, but it's not like really enough, because he's not trying to like mentor me or transition me from boy to man. Where if I'm just sitting with my granddad, if I'm just speaking to him, like there is something like intrinsically masculine about him. I do not know what it is, but that substance like food, it's like it feels so valuable, especially when you are deficient in it already. But like, especially when you've never received it in your entire life, it becomes very valuable. And that's why it's valuable enough for me to like say it in the video. Actually, some popular rituals were, you get your first kill, like your real life, you kill a human being. That is your sign in the tribe that you've gone from boy to man. Another ritual, listen, watching this video, do not be like, Arey, I need to become a man. and I need to kill someone. No, that is not the point. What did I mention earlier? You must transition with the help of other men. We'll get onto this later. Like, if you can kill fucking 100 people right now alone, but you won't become a man. There is something about the energy of an older man, an older father figure, an older father that helps you get out of it. It's not just about doing it alone, it's about doing it with these older men. We'll talk about that in a second. Another ritual Robert talks about in the book is where there's a tribe somewhere in Africa where when a boy becomes of age, so 8 to 12 years old, he's basically kidnapped by the older men in the tribe. Just fucking kidnapped. Like, and the mothers are like in on it, so they know that their sons are going to be kidnapped. So the mothers do this crazy act of when the son is being kidnapped, they'll be shouting, "Oh, my son, my son, my son," and the boy is crying. It's all a mess. It's crazy. For the mothers, it's a sense of pride. It's like, yes, my boy is gonna become a man. And like after their whole action, after their whole acting of, "Oh, my son, my son, my son," like they're literally with the other women in the tribe, and the women are like, "Arey, did I act well? Did I do this? Was I good?" Like, it's a sense of pride for them. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. And this boy is taken away and he's put into a pit. And he's put into a pit for 3 days. No food. Maybe he's given water, I'm not sure, but definitely not food. 3 days he's starving. And on the third day or the fourth day, he's brought out of the pit. And there is this ritual of all the men, older men in the tribe, and they have this fire in the middle. And each man has to cut his forearm and put blood into the bowl. And every man does it. And finally, the boy has to do it himself. And now the boy has to drink this blood. Oh my god. And that means that the boy is a man now. Oh my god, that shit's give me goosebumps right now. Like, when I hear of that stuff, when I hear of things like this, it resonates so badly. Like, there is, even though I've never experienced it, it just, like, the deep masculine psyche in me just knows that, fuck, if I had something like that, if I just had older men in my life, just take me out of this. Like, that is the whole, thing, man. There's another ritual that happens in a tribe in Australia where a boy basically has to cut the foreskin of his penis off and eat it. And when he eats it, it symbolizes that he's eaten the boy in himself. Like that shit. Oh my god. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but if you're a boy watching this, just does this resonate with you, boy or man, whatever? I think we all are fucking boys. None of us are men. Does this resonate with you? Where these kind of ritual stories, even though you've never done it, even though it's just imagination, there is something in your you're just hyped up just listening to it. Fuck, man. We are so fucking soft, man. The possessiveness, it's crazy. And it's how do we get out of it when we especially don't have a male role model to get us out, a real life male model, not some bullshit on the internet. Instead, we now have these modern fucking bullshit ways of boy to man. Your first, you sleep with your first girl, for example. You do the fucking, you drink beer in a certain way. You become a crazy drinker. Oh, you're a man now. We smoke cigarette, smoke cigarettes, the first cigarette, this and that. What the fuck are these new bullshit modern ways of, bro? If it was that easy to become a man, fuck, bro. That is not the answer. This is just modern bullshit, which is complete cope. And the people helping in this modern bullshit are other boys. It's not other men in the past rituals where it's your father and other older men in the tribe. Now it's just other boys just doing fuck all and doing all this bullshit. Seek out the, bro. If you learn how to drive, you're a man. Like these relatives, the bullshit relatives will tell you, अरे बड़ा बेटा बेटा बड़ा हो गया है, वो ड्राइव कर रहा है अभी. अरे what बड़ा हो गया है? Even a fucking kid can drive this. I've been driving since I was a fucking child in video games. Real life isn't difficult, bro. Like these fucking brain dead as modern people, bro. They do not understand what a boy needs. And as I said, we ourselves have fathers that themselves have not transitioned from boy to man. Just because of their outward responsibilities and their masculine nature does not mean that they understand what this problem is exactly and how to navigate, because they themselves haven't broken the possessiveness of their own parents, right? And because of that reason, they don't know what the fuck to do with you. Like they honestly they just pass out now. They don't know what to do with you. Like the knowledge only isn't there. And right now, boys of my age have this dual personality where they are one personality in the house and one personality outside of the house with friends, and it's this constant fight, right? So whenever you do something that your parents don't want you to do, you take the key from your mother's pillow and you actually go out with the wild man. You fuck around with your friends in real life. That is when you feel the most free. There's this constant fight in you, or which one should I do? Which one should I do? Should I listen to my parents? Should I listen to, or should I, take the key and go out into the wildness with the wild man, like do what the wild man is telling me to do. And there's this constant fight. And be honest right now, if you had the full choice of picking which one and how you want to live, which one would you pick? Would you pick the possessive life of living with your parents and being in their possessiveness, or would you take the key from your mother's pillow and go off with the wild man? What would you do? If you had the full choice right now, what would you do? So you know your answer now. Women can only change embryo to boy, but only men can change boy to man. The mother gives the son a baptism of shame, which is a controlling tactic. All parents do this. Women, they aren't like throughout history, they aren't like violent people like men, right? They are physically weaker, so they have to resort to other tactics, and they are bloody well good at it, which is the mastery of the words, which is the mastery of shame, using those words to get what they want essentially. So this is the tactic of the mother. Shame is the tactic of the mother. It's like she doesn't even need to say anything. When you do something, you like, there are these moments, like I could not describe to you, man. Like it's like you're always doing something wrong. Like you're doing something illegal. It's that feeling of you're doing something illegal all the time. It's not, you've not actually done anything. The reason why you're feeling like you're doing something illegal is because of that underlying shame and guilt that you feel as a result of taking the key from your mother's pillow. Many boys, they take the key, and then once they're done, because they're scared of their parents finding out that the key is missing, they put it back in. They take it temporarily, they put it back in. So that's what's happening right now. It's never a full transition of I took the key, fuck off, wild man time. So what would be the solution to this? Okay, we understand the problem very well now. What's the solution to embracing the wild man fully and to properly transition from boy to man? As I said at the start, like I strongly believe you cannot do it without a male role model or male father figure. You cannot. It's just not possible. You can try, but you will harm yourself in the process, as Robert said. And I have experienced this myself, so that's why I believe in it. That you will harm yourself in the process if you do not know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, it's a very dangerous path to go from boy to man alone. Very dangerous. So firstly, you are obviously very saddened by this situation. If I tell you, like many like sons would just cry because they don't have a father figure, and that somebody is me. And Robert says in the book, the first step for you is to go to a walled garden. A walled garden is basically a safe space where you can spend some time firstly just processing your grief, healing from the damage that has already been done in your life, healing from the trauma first, to go into this walled garden. And that walled garden is away from civilization, away from, it's just you, your thoughts, and just with the singular goal of I have to heal now. I have to fix this now. That walled garden could be anything, man. For me, the walled garden is, I wish to spend like a month or two, like in the Himalayas alone, and just processing, just away from my civilization, away from the internet, everything, and just process my grief. No agenda. I won't meditate. It's just like, just you have to spend like time like processing your grief, because sometimes in some cases the damage cannot be undone. But firstly, you like, that is the first step. And if you can't do that at the moment, there is other things you can do. In the meantime, you want to embrace the wild man as much as possible. Okay. And it could be in sporadic moments. Yes, you take the key, sometimes you put it back, take the key, put it back, but you want to embrace him fully. And the wild man can only come to his full life within a man when he's gone through some serious disciplines. So this is also a key part. A wild man is not just something you do this and done. If you must be knowing that discipline is one of the tenets of being a man. And when you go through difficult shit, when you go through wild man shit, the wild man in you becomes more powerful and stronger and more potent. So whatever it is right now, stop doing activities that make you weaker. Okay, stop the jacking off, stop this. Like, go do something fucking difficult, like a fucking ritual. If you are addicted to porn right now, no matter how hard it gets, quit it. Do something fucking difficult. Your 12th grade 95% isn't bullshit, bro. That's literally the easiest thing you could do without risk. Do something actually fucking difficult that has risk, or it just eats up your mind so badly. Achieve something monumental in the meantime. Embrace your wild man in that process. My fucking goal right now is 100k subscribers. You might say, oh, how could you? Oh, you're fucking delusional. You're on 2k right now. How can you get 100k? Motherfucker, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's Budo, like to the death. I don't give a fuck. 100k, I'm gonna get it. That is my difficult task. That is the discipline I'm willing to go through right now. And embrace the wild man in the process. And the wild man in you is guilt free. He expresses his sexual desires freely without guilt or shame. There is no such thing as shame in the book of the wild man. He is that motherfucker, like that. It's just shameless. He's the untamed version. So expressing that sexual hunting killer energy inside of you as a boy, as a man, is not a bad thing. The world has conditioned you into thinking it's a shameful thing. Do not talk to girls this way. Do not chase girls. Do not be aggressive. Do not try to harm other people. But that is not in the nature of the wild man. The wild man is shameless. Now, I'm not telling you to do something illegal right now and fucking rape a girl right now. Bro, shut the fuck up. Like, if you took it out of context like that, you're actually a fucking dumbass. I'm not even joking. What I'm saying is that if you remember, like, we most boys played video games as kids. We used to play with the guns and this and that. Who was the first person to criticize you in that? The mother. The mother would say, oh, video games are so harmful, playing with guns, you'll become violent in real life. No, the reason I like it so much is because I am that in real life. I am the motherfucker. The wild man in me has the hunting instinct. He wants to hunt. He wants to kill. Fuck Hinduism, fuck Jainism, all this bullshit like ahimsa and all. I do not believe that, bro. In religious transcendence, yes, that is important. But for men, that is not something that will fulfill you. As simple as that. Do not suppress your sexual energy, especially. Many men suppress their sexual energy. Like, they'll be scared of saying certain things to girls and this and that. No. The most success you'll have with girls is when you express it like fully. Not like you see a girl dick out. That is not expressing your sexual energy. Like, you fuckers don't understand what I'm saying. Expressing your sexual energy is just being confident in your sexuality, basically. Where you are not ashamed of wooing a girl. You're not ashamed of chasing a girl. If you want her, you'll try to get her. That is basically expressing. There's a quote which says, most men live lives of quiet desperation. which means that they want a girl, they want this, they want that, but they don't actually get it. How many times have you seen there's a hot girl on the street and every guy is just staring at her? That those men are suppressing their sexual energy. Just by looking at the girl, you're not getting. Just because you get a boner, that doesn't mean you're expressing your sexual energy. No, there'll be that one man out of 1,000 that will actually go up and speak to that girl. That is expressing your sexual energy. If you fumble, you fumble. If you fail, you fail. But you express your sexual energy. Your hunting energy, like that piece, that girl is mine. That hunting energy, that killer energy. Another thing you need to know is that you are not the wild man. The wild man is merely your friend. You are two different identities. Do not confuse it with that. You just have to tap into the wild man when you need him. Because if you embrace the wild man fully, like if you become him, what did I say? He's shameless. The wild man, if unleashed in the wrong hands, in the wrong understanding, can be dangerous to the world. Extremely dangerous. You do not know what the wild man is capable of. And you have that power within you. Like you can feel it. When I talk to you about those blood drinking rituals, you felt that wild man. He's kicking like a baby in a womb. He's kicking. He wants to come out. And as men, you will feel the most alive when you are on the edge of death. Your craziest, most vivid memories, your most testosterone filling memories are when you are on the edge of death. And you might have experienced it. I have experienced it when I was climbing a mountain once. Pitch darkness. It was pitch darkness. I slept on the mountain at night. I was on the edge of death. An animal could have come. I had no phone with me. No torch, no nothing, no jacket, no camp. I was exposed in the open, in the wild. There could have been a dog. There could have been some animal. I was on the edge of fucking death right there. And that has been one of the most vivid memories of my entire life. Most alive. I was the most alive that time. Every cell of my body was trying to get over the night and make sure I come out fucking alive. Every cell in my body was activated. That's what I'm talking about. Now, don't purposely chase these moments. Don't be stupid and drive a car at 200 miles an hour. Oh, I feel alive, I'm a man. No, it must come naturally. Don't be foolish, but let it happen naturally. And when it comes to dealing with your parents, whatever they are disgusted by is usually the right thing to do. Because that is what the wild man would do. A wild man does not live in shame. Your parents have had that kind of possessiveness pass on to them from generations. That shame. They have not embraced the wild man. Your mother has not embraced the wild woman. So they are living in perpetual shame, and they pass on that shame to you in the form of disgust, or when you present to them a certain idea, they don't like it, or they fight you, or this and that. The right thing to do is what the wild man is telling you to do, which is the act of doing things without shame. Like, just look at the most successful people in the world. They have no fucking shame. Like, they've done shit that like you couldn't do because you're too scared of your parents. And these guys, meanwhile, are doing that shit every single day. And another thing you want to learn is, you know how girls, they give you shit tests, like in a relationship, like where you're trying to get this girlfriend, she'll just drop shit tests on you, and most guys fail that. I've learned that your mother is also a shit test. It's all subconscious, okay? So what I want you to conclude from this video is not your mothers and fathers, they're not consciously doing this. It's all subconscious as part of the Oedipus complex, which I talked about in the start, that possessiveness. But your mother is a shit test. Why? Because she will present to you these certain challenges, these certain arguments, these, like whenever you tell her, "Mummy, mujhe ye karna hai," she'll be the first one to like persuade you not to do it. Okay, that's a shit test. She's testing you subconsciously. She wants to see if you're a fucking man or not. In that case, you gotta clock it and you must say, okay, yeah. I know what the right thing is to do, because what the wild man is telling me to do is usually the right thing to do. And throughout this try to find a father figure that you can respect. If it's not your father, in most of our cases, try to find somebody else and convey to them that, listen, I want to make this transition. Like tell them, like, I want to stay away from females for a while. I want to stay away from my mother. Another ritual that I forgot to tell you was that a boy was in another case, when he was of age, so 8 to 12 years old, he would have to leave his mothers and sisters and everybody and live with only men for 6 weeks. Only men, not allowed to see females, nothing. It seemed like the Gurukul. But imagine, like, if you right now only lived with men, would you give a fuck about females? Like, would you give a shit about like anything? Like, you would be like, you would embrace that wild man so much, because all the other men in your, all the older men in your tribe, in your gang, have also embraced the wild man. And it's a beautiful feeling. Like even though you haven't experienced it, like, just imagining it does something to our hearts. Like, as boys, it fucking does something, because like we know what's deficient, right? We are conscious sentient human beings. We know what we need and what we don't. And when we need something, we know, yes, we are deficient in that thing. I am not a man right now, but what I gave you in this video was a blueprint almost, or a roadmap, or give you a deeper understanding of what's going on. Even I'm in the process right now. I'm trying my best right now through discipline to embrace the wild man. But that is not enough, and I know that. I will at some point need a male coach, a male, and I think money will buy me this. I truly believe that money will buy me a father figure in real life. Because once I have the money, like, I believe it cannot be done like just like altruistically anymore. Like, father figures, they're just not available. If I have the money, like, at least I can pay for that kind of a service, where it's like a coach in martial arts, right? So many of your favorite UFC fighters have these coaches that help them, that train them, that they look up to them as a father almost. It's the same thing here. Where it's going to be transactional. You tell them, listen, I want to live with you, I want to work with you. This brutal training, like, just like that way of living life, it's something different. If you like this video, come follow me on Instagram. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one, my friend. And I hope you become a man. Like, I fucking hope that you get out of the shell of protectiveness. And I hope, like, I wish you the best, man, honestly, because I resonate with you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video, my friend.